Hey guys, it's Nick. Welcome to another episode of T-Minus 365. If you're like me and many others out there, it can be really frustrating to spend a lot of time going back and forth with individuals trying to schedule a meeting. It seems like a very petty task, but if you actually count up all the hours or minutes that you spend doing this, it can accumulate to many hours lost during the work week. So in this episode, I'm going to be showing you 2 tools from Microsoft that you could start using today to help streamline your meeting scheduling process. As always, if this content's helpful, go ahead and like and subscribe. And as I'm going through this video, definitely comment below with anything that you're doing today within your Microsoft environment to help streamline your meeting scheduling process. And with that, let's go ahead and dive in. Okay, so getting into it here, the first tool I'm going to show you is called Bookings with Me. It's based off of the Bookings application that comes part of the small business and enterprise licensing with Microsoft. Effectively here, when you go into your calendar, within the Outlook on the web environment, you'll have this go to my booking page linked here. There might be a little bit different verbiage if you've never set this up before, but this will open up a new page where you can begin to create effectively your bookings page and the meeting types that you want to show for users. And they have both public and private, which we'll be getting into here. So this captures your branding as far as your profile pic, and then you can edit the background image as well too. But this is going to be technically a URL that users can hit, and we can embed within our email signature that will then allow people to schedule based off of our availability. So I have these 2 meetings that I created, which are more common, I would say, in the space. This tool itself is very comparable to something like Calendly. A lot of people use that today and have used that in the past to schedule one-on-one meetings. And this tool is primarily for that individual meeting setting. So within here, you can go into the add button and you can go ahead and create a new meeting type. And so you can add emojis here as well, just for the things you might be looking to do. So we might say this is an automation consulting. You can add categories here as well. You can even create new categories. So maybe I just want to call this automation to help me prioritize or organize, really should say, on my calendar. And then you can tag that there, and then you can add a description. It automatically tags your Teams meeting to add as far as the meeting location is virtual. And then you can select whether it's public or private. These appear on your booking page, whereas private, you can send them booking links. It'll automatically default to using the regular meeting hours as set by your Outlook settings within your environment. You can choose this to custom availability hours as well too for the specific meeting type. And then under the advanced options, you can include buffers for the meeting as well too. And then you can limit the start time as well. Down below here, this is where I see a little bit more of the need to go ahead and change these settings, because if it was me, I wouldn't want to give somebody 1 hour leeway to give me or schedule a meeting on my calendar. Most likely I'm going to make that a day out where they could schedule in advance. So just saying, like, if we're in the current day and I have availability at noon, it's 11 a.m. today. If I had it 1 hour before, it's technically they could schedule a meeting on my calendar at noon. So that'll obviously be custom to what kind of work you're doing and things like that. And then the maximum lead time, you may not want people to be booking out 90 days in advance for you. So you may say that's 30 days is sufficient for the meetings that you're going to save, especially with this event type. So I can go ahead and save this here. And that'll be added to my bookings page where people can go ahead and schedule this. You can then go ahead and copy this link or share this out to individuals uniquely as well, if you wanted to just send them a link privately for this. Additionally, from this page here, you can go ahead and convert these into private appointments. And additionally, you can go ahead, if you had any private, convert them to public as well too. So just complete customizability there. And then the other cool part is you can go ahead and add this to your email signature. So the main thing that you'll want to do on here before saving and moving forward is clicking on include a link to my bookings page in my signature, which is then going to add this hypertext link that you see here. And we'll go ahead and click on save. And now from here, let's go ahead and pivot into what this experience looks like from both the individual that's going to reach out to a user and that user actually clicking on the bookings page to schedule a meeting. Okay, I'm in Outlook. I'm going to go ahead and send an external message to an individual here. So I'm sending this to Alex at Nova Coast, and I'm going to say, book time with me. I'm going to say, click on the link below to schedule some time. So I'm just going to go ahead and send this off. So now I'm in Alex's Outlook environment here that I just sent that message as well to, and then I have that email that came from me. And I'm going to go ahead and click book time with me, which will open up my booking page. And this is what he can see as well here too. But the cool part is it's matching our calendar availability. And it's also accommodating for time zone differences. So let's say if I was in Mountain Time as Nick, Alex is in East Coast time, it's automatically kind of matching that up and displaying my time here. You can see that and view this information. My example is not matching up with what I mentioned here, but effectively, it's going to cater to the time zone settings of this individual. And then you can go ahead and book a meeting with them, and you can add the notes, things like that. This is a very familiar experience if you've used Calendly in the past. Well, that'll go ahead and automatically schedule. So just very much a streamlined process for actually booking an individual meeting with a person inside or outside your organization. Lastly, before we move on to the next tool, because Calendly is so popular, I just wanted to reference the comparison of Bookings with Me versus Calendly. I think if you look at the basic or free plan that they have, it's very similar to Bookings with Me, so there's not a whole lot of differences there with what you get. I think from a onboarding standpoint, it is easier if you use Bookings with Me because it's already natively integrated to your calendar. You don't have to connect that, and it's also integrated into Microsoft Teams as well too for the actual virtual meeting itself. So a lot of that streamlined, and some of this integration capability or automation capability they provide, you could actually do with the free version of Power Automate as well too. Maybe have some more flexibility versus their pre-built integrations for the things that they're doing. But effectively, again, this is really very much similar. I would just use Microsoft's tooling if you already have access to that versus using a third party, unless you need to get into some more of these robust features that they provide, but also they're at a paid cost as well too. So the next feature I want to show you is called scheduling polls. And effectively, it is something that you can use to help schedule a meeting when you have many different participants that are trying to all coordinate on a single meeting time. This is different than Bookings with Me because usually with that, you're just looking to schedule a meeting with one person, whereas this is going to be many participants. Some may be in your organization, many may be outside where you don't have access into their calendar, so it's not easy for you to go ahead and schedule an appropriate time. And at that external standpoint, those users have much different availability as well too. So it's all about coordinating across many different stakeholders. So the first thing you want to do is add attendees so that the scheduling poll can actually work. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So in this use case, I've added 2 external participants that I don't know their schedule, and we all want to coordinate to join one meeting. From here, you can click on the 3 little dots on the right-hand side, and you can click on scheduling poll. This automatically defaults to my time zone, and you can set the duration of this meeting as well here too. And then from there, you can start to pick out the dates. So because this is defaulting to a Saturday, it's saying that nothing's available. But if I move into the next week, I can begin to see all of the available hours. And effectively here it's saying I understand my calendar, as in Nick in this use case, but I don't know these other 2 attendees. If you had other internal participants, it'd be able to look at their calendars for the busy or free information to decide or show you which availability they have. So again, just helping you streamline the process here. So I'm going to pick some wild hours here. That's not typically what you would do to schedule a meeting, but I'm just showing it here. You can select meeting times, and then you can move into other dates here as well too, and begin selecting these times across the board. So I'm just going to choose 3 days in the sense of the availability, and then I'm going to go into next. And so it's going to summarize this for me here as well. It's going to default this to a Teams meeting, and then you can manage the poll settings, which is to say that you automatically want to require, or automatically schedule, I should say, when the attendees reach consensus, as in everybody's voting towards the same meeting time. And then it's saying I want to hold the selected times on my calendar as a placeholder so that those don't get filled in by somebody scheduling a meeting with you and then having some conflicts there. You can get notifications about the poll updates when users have voted, things like that. And then you can require the attendees to verify their identity as well, which I think is great from just a security perspective. And then you can lock the poll for attendees as well. So I'm going to go ahead and click Create Poll. And the poll is automatically added here into my email. So I can view the poll details, but there's not going to be anything there. I'm going to go ahead and send this off, and I'll show you what it looks like from the other user's perspective, as in the external users here. Okay, so I'm back into Alex's Outlook environment here. I'm going to go ahead and click on Vote. This is going to bring up our polling page here. And then you can see the individual users' times and how they voted. So in this use case, Nick Ross at SourcePass did not vote yet, But again, I can go in here and I can say whether or not I prefer this time or I have availability here as well. And then uniquely, Microsoft is also looking at your calendar to look and see if you're free or busy at any of these times. And you can actually propose another time as well here too. So I could say yes or no for these as well, and go ahead and go across the board just to say whether or not I'm available. And then I can click on vote. So that submitted my votes here as well. And then back in my environment for the user who actually scheduled the poll, I can actually see the poll responses based off that setting that I showed there as well here too. So you can unsubscribe from the polling notifications if it gets too noisy for you, if you have a lot of participants, and just kind of view all the polls at the end of the day when you have some time. But I like that just as far as the update goes. And then when you're navigating in here for the scheduling poll, you can actually see across the board, Alex in this use case declined these times and said yes to these other ones here. So once Nick at SourcePass responds here and we have unison as far as everybody checking the box on one time, it will automatically schedule that as far as scheduling it on my calendar. And then lastly here, like it showed in the settings, it does put this placeholder on your calendar itself just so that you don't get this booked while you're trying to finalize the poll. Once it schedules, these placeholders will be removed automatically as well, so there's nothing manual you have to do in that process. Okay guys, that's everything I have for you in today's video. Definitely comment below with any questions or comments about the content that I covered today. And like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, definitely like and subscribe if you want to see more content around Microsoft and the MSP space. Thanks guys, have a great day.